Hi everybody, welcome to day 2 of online learning. Hopefully your Monday and Tuesday wasn't too stressful. I know there's been some pretty steep learning curves with this, or the first video that I posted. I know there were some people that couldn't access it. I've made some tweaks and hopefully that this video was much easier. There seems to be a problem with the PHbillies account, especially on the school-issued Chromebook. So I'm working with our tech person, Mr. Trailer, to try to fix that problem. So hopefully by today, there were little to no issues with that. So the way that today's going to work, we are going to do a mini lesson. It is a review lesson for chains, kind of touch base about where you are in the book and kind of how Isabel has developed as a character throughout the story. That's where we left off 4 weeks ago now. So I want to kind of update it and see where we're at. So I know for our first video on Monday and Tuesday, the questions that were in your weekly work form were written in the work form. For this, for today's lesson, I haven't written down those questions. They're all going to be within the slideshow that I'm sharing. So you can, if you want, pause the video. Like after I share the warm-up slide, you can pause the video and go and do your warm-up really quick, or you can just watch the video all the way through and then go back and do it at the end. It does not matter to me. So let's go ahead and get started. Share screen. Let me get this out of the way and present. All right. So I tried to keep it, like I said in my first video, I want things to feel as normal as possible. So I'm still going to do my typical slide at the beginning. So open up your weekly work document, respond to the warm-up for today. So the warm-up for today is on a scale of 1 to 5. How are you doing? So a 1 would be that you feel awful. And a 5 would be that this is the time of your life. You've never been better. So give me some sort of number and then tell me why. You can't just put I'm a 3 and I feel fine. Like explain why you're giving yourself the number that you did. Now, as you're working on that, or if you've paused, then you've already done the warm-up, but let's take a look at what we're going to be doing today. So I actually, that online learning stuff I've taken out. I decided to make that its own video. And then, so what we're going to do is some chains reminders and an update on Isabel. All right, let's go. How are you? I want to update how I am today. So I'm filming this Tuesday. Today was awful. It was an awful day. It was just one of those like tough days where nothing went right technology-wise. My 7th period class, you guys know what I'm talking about. It was a tough day when it came to technology. And you know, it was just my allergies are acting up. My daughter was throwing tantrums all day. It's just bad. Hopefully you had a really great day. Hopefully school went well and you're settling into this online learning all right. But let me know. I really do want to know kind of, this is one of the big things I want to focus on is keeping up to date with how you're feeling and making sure that you are trying to stay as positive as possible. So yeah, let me know in your the exit ticket and questions how you're doing, or make sure that you expand on it in your warm-up so I can check in on you. And yeah, we can talk. All right. So here's some upcoming due dates. This was up on my blog as well, but the completed double entry diary for chains is due next Friday, April 24th. So 1 week from this coming Friday. You can turn it in anytime before that. It doesn't matter, but it needs to be turned in by 3:10 on April 24th. That means that you should be done with the book by then as well. All right, so the book should be done and the double entry diary should be done. Hopefully you didn't make the mistake of just blasting through the book and not doing your entries as you were going. It just makes it harder. You can still do the entries, but it just does make it harder on yourself if you forgot to do the entries as you were reading. The breakdown for the chapters is posted up on Google Classroom under the double entry diary assignment. So if you need to see kind of because the double entry diary assignment is broken out by week. So it says week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And those are the chapters that those entries should encapsulate. All right, and then I kind of talked about this last week, but just a reminder that who's reading for third quarter is optional. If you did it, then you'll get awarded the 30 points. If you didn't, I'm not going to count it against your grade. With all that was going on, I don't think it's fair to penalize people that maybe didn't put school at the forefront over our long break from school. But if you did get your Who's Reading done, I still want to reward you for that. However, fourth quarter Who's Reading journal is going to be due. So I am requiring you to read a novel of your choice for fourth quarter. If you don't have books at home, that's fine. You can check out books in the library. If that is something that you need to do, email Miss Brothers, who is our librarian, and she can help you through that process. Now, another thing I need to remind you of, it has to be a grade level book. It needs to be to your reading level. You can't read Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You can't read, what's another like young book that people tend to want to read? I can't think of one off the top of my head, but you can't, it needs to be something to your level. So if you're unsure if your book would be acceptable, shoot me an email, put a comment on Google Classroom, text me on Remind, and I will let you know, all right? If you have any questions about that, again, write it on the exit ticket questions portion of your weekly work. All right, so yeah, wow, just barreled through that slide. Yeah, I have a question right on the weekly work form. Okay, so before we left, I don't know if you remember, I meant to take a picture of it, and of course, I completely forgot to, but we did a character web up on the whiteboard in the back, and we were talking about some of the character traits that we would attribute to Isabel. So I kind of narrowed it down from what I remembered. So some of the things that we said that she was brave. That was the biggest one that came up. Brave, courageous. That she was kind. She was giving, especially towards her sister, and she was feisty. She was not afraid to fight back. So now what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be updating how we would describe her character. So how do we feel about her now? So this is the work that I want you to do in your weekly work form under the activity practice. So in your activity practice, it says Monday or Tuesday. Sorry, that should say Wednesday or Thursday. See, it is like real school because my slideshows still have mistakes. I told you I'm keeping it as normal as possible. I'm not gonna go through and refilm this. You're gonna see all of the errors. So this is what I want you to do. And I have the little, sorry, you can't, when I'm pointing to it, you can't see it. This right here. So this is what it looks like for you. The work that you're gonna be doing is right here in the activity practice. Just go ahead and do 1 through 5. First of all, tell me what page you're on in the book. Please be honest. If you are on chapter 5, then tell me you're on chapter 5. If you're finished with the book, then just write, I'm done. And then number 2, what kind of character is Isabel? I pulled out those exact same 4 questions that we did on that first week that we were in school, the first week that we did chains. So what kind of character is she? What kind of traits would you say that she has? They can be similar to the traits that we talked about before, but update it now that you're further along in the book, hopefully. And I want you to explain why. Why do you think that she has that character trait? Give me a piece of evidence that backs that up. And that is your number 3. What actions support those traits? How would you can't just say, yeah, she's really nice. Like, why would you say she's nice? What does she do in the book that supports that opinion? And then number 4 and number 5. So number 4, who are her friends? Who are her allies in the book? And then number 5, who are her foes? Who are the people that are fighting against her? Who is she fighting against? And think about this. You can think just in terms of people, but I would encourage you to maybe dive a little deeper. Think about it in a bit more of an abstract sense. What are some of the big concepts that she's fighting against, not just the people, right? That kind of goes more towards the theme of the book, which we're going to be talking about next week. So just like this little portion of the slide says, this should reflect all of the reading that you have completed in the book. So if you have read through chapter 38, then this this should reflect, your answer should reflect the reading that you've done. So if you are on chapter 38 and you pick action to support the trait, then the action comes from chapter 2, that doesn't reflect the reading that you've done. So make sure that you're choosing examples, you're choosing evidence that comes from later on in the book that you've read to, all right? So like the slide says, and like I've talked about earlier, your goal is to be done with the book by next week. What we're gonna be doing on Monday, Tuesday of next week is we're gonna be kind of compiling this, and we're going to be sharing it with each other. I've been meeting with some of you through Google Meets, my 6th period. We had an awesome Google Meet today. There were so many of us in there, which was fun and a bit nerve-wracking for me, but still it was wonderful to see all your faces. I mean, just in general, through all the Google Meets that I've had, it's just been awesome to talk to you guys. It's definitely been the bright spot in this first couple of days that have been pretty stressful as we've moved towards online learning. So I'd like to figure out a way that we can kind of all get together again and talk about some of these character traits that we see in Isabel, talk about some of the broad themes of the book. So look for that coming next week. So this is really all that I want to do today. It is more of a review, catch up, helping me get an idea of where people are in the book, communicating some of the due dates, especially reminding you that the double entry diary is due on the 24th. So make sure that you're working on that. If you're already done, you're going to have a bit of an easy rest of your week. If you're a little bit behind, that's what you should be focusing on this week, is reading the book, doing your entries. All right. Now let's go ahead and move into, oh yeah, sorry, I should have put that up there. So this is the exact same slide that we saw on the week before we all left. So yeah, Isabel's, this is an updated mind map that we did in our notebooks. So we're just doing it as like a bullet point rather than a mind map like we did last time. All right, here's your exit ticket. So first, what do you think your biggest challenge is going to be with online learning? So for some of you, it might be that you don't have great access to the internet. Some of you, it might be that you're not great with technology and everything seems to fail. Others, it might be something more serious, like I have a hard time motivating myself. Nobody in my house really motivates me and it's up to me and I don't really care about any of this stuff. And then how can I help support you? What can I do to help you through that challenge that you feel like you're going to be facing? So that's the first part of your exit ticket. The second part is, what is the best way to contact you if I want to speak with you? So if I see on your exit ticket that you said, I'm not motivated, I'm having a really hard time getting stuff done, or the only time that I can do online schooling is really late at night. So if I have questions, how am I supposed to contact you? Like if there's something that I really do feel like I need to touch base with you about, I need to know what's the best way to talk with you. So would you like to communicate over email? Would you like to talk on the phone? Or would you like to text? So if you want to talk on the phone or you want to text with me, please provide your phone number and then I can reach out to you. Or do you want to talk on Remind, which is a kind of, a way for us to text without having, you don't have to give me your phone number if you're not comfortable giving me your phone number. I also want to add on there Google Meet. If you would prefer doing face-to-face, I love doing these face-to-face chats with individuals. It's been fun doing that. I still have to get used to having like a ton of people in the room at the same time, but doing these one-to-ones, I've really started to get used to it. So if you would like, if that's like your preferred method of communicating with me is through Google Meet, let me know on that. All right. So you should have 2 things on your exit ticket. The first one, what's the biggest challenge and how can I support you? Number 2, what's the best way to contact you? And then providing me the information if I need it. Like if you want to talk on the phone or if you want to text, you need to provide. Oh, my kid's coming in the room. Yeah. Okay. I'm recording. Yeah, I don't care. The challenges of online learning. All right, and then underneath your exit ticket, if you have any questions about anything that I said, please write it there. You also can put the questions on a comment on Google Classroom. You can email me, text me, Remind, set up a set up an appointment to talk with me on Google Meet. Any of that stuff is fine. Make sure you're checking out my blog. I am going to be posting both of those videos, both of these videos, yesterday's video and this video up on my blog as well, so that you'll have access to those on my blog. I also have a button on there that if you want to meet with me to review something or ask a question on Google Meet, that you can book an appointment. So yeah, I guess that's it. So hope you're doing well. Let me stop this. No, stop share. Okay. Hope you're doing well. Hope that this week hasn't been too horrible, too uncomfortable, too boring. Things are going to pick up. I know that some of you said math has already picked up, and you already have work in there, which is awesome. This is a pretty low-key week for language arts. So, but we're going to hit the ground running, really get to some new stuff next week. So if there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. All right. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Bye.